And without further ado, spawning in the bottom left position of 2,000 atmospheres under the sea, give it up for the Shopify Rebellions, BYUN. And of course, his opponent up here in the top, he is for Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Rogue. And what a map to start things out on. This is absolutely a fantastic matchup here from both of these players. These guys are literal legends in the scene. BYUN, the 2016 world champion, Rogue taking it in 2017. So these guys have definitely been around the block when it comes to playing the TVZ matchup, and we can kind of see here Rogue definitely played against BYUN quite a few times to recognize that, hey, there's probably going to be a proxy, especially on a map like 2,000 atmospheres where there is a lot of different spaces where you can kind of push that down and, you know, kind of be a little bit of a nuisance early on. Rogue, I don't think, would fall to something like that. You know, he is pretty good at stopping the cheese, stopping the cheddar, and the aggression as well. But it just takes a little bit of scouting. That's one thing I gotta say about Rogue. A lot of the times we do see that he only has this one Overlord early on. And while he usually does get pneumatized Carapace, in some instances, he just doesn't really get a lot of information as to what his opponent is doing. And that kind of tells you that, hey, he is very set, very secure in his build orders, so he feels like he doesn't actually need to know what's up because he will just counter it even in the blind. Now, we'll have to see if that works for him because we do have the Reaper gonna be coming on in. Gets pretty far forward, looking for a drone or two, but so far, just gonna find these links. We're gonna see a little bit of a poking action. Good pullbacks from Rogue, by the way, making sure that none of those lings die, even these really weakened ones. So very good on him there, even pulling the drones to make sure they don't fall. BYUN gets a little bit of focus fire, but at the end of the day, there is going to be nothing on this Reaper. And now with this, there's not really a lot of room for BYUN to come in here and get the Creep Tumor Snipe, which is a holy grail of the Reaper aggression. And so we're just going to see him add on that those additional Hellions, get the Marine up and running, and actually, with the fact that he's making Marines out of the racks right now, that kind of tells me that we might be seeing a bit of a Hellbat timing here. Because usually with this, you do want to instead be making a tech lab or reactor and just start pumping out Marines a lot quicker than that. Beautiful snipe on the Creep Tumor right there. That's going to delay him just a little bit. But yeah, since you're making only a couple of additional Marines with the medevac, it's very aggressive. It's very greedy. And yeah, there you go. The armory does go down. He's got to sell this to Rogue, though. You need to send at least a Hellion or two across the map, make it look like this is just going to be a normal game. But here we go. The Overlord sees the lift up, I believe. And now Rogue will have to defend. He does have 3 more Queens on the way, so that will be 7 total by the time this hits. And BYUN is getting ready to push. He's only got 4 Hellions right now. He needs to bring the rest of them over here. Medevac takes a little bit of a poke off the back of that, and we do see a small run by going to be coming in to try and catch BYUN off guard. The wall is not complete, but here we go. The Hellbats getting right on top of the Queens, and they will start to fall. There's not really that much transfuse energy available to them, so they will fall relatively quickly here since BYUN is focus firing them down. On the other side of things, we did see a couple of those lings get in. Not really too much damage going down, though. So the SCVs are back to work. And now BYUN rotates around to the mineral line. He will get on top of some of these drones. Doesn't get really any kills on them. But still, the Queen count has been whittled down quite significantly. And now a lot of Rogue's economy is not mining. That was a beautiful surround right there. And so this is going to force Rogue to make a choice. He has to come back with some of these lings, but he is still going to put some pressure on the front, and BYUN has to be careful because he is going to lose that wall. Looks like without too much economic damage as well, Rogue will be able to eventually clean this up. He did break down that wall, gets the cancel on the CC. Raven forced to use a lot of its auto-turret energy just to survive. That is not a full wall off, Rogue. Or BYUN, rather. And so now this is where the damage really starts to kick in. Even going to get another cancel right here on the CC. He's going to have to get that. And now here we go. The Bane is going to be coming in, looking for some juicy connections here. The SCVs in the front are doing what they can, but a lot of them will go down. 17 on the kill tab. Honestly, this is why you have to be careful not to be too aggressive with Rogue, because he will cancel you immediately the second that he is ready to. Now these Hellions going to find a nice little position to keep the Zerglings out, but you're not mining off your natural. You don't have the minerals to throw down your third base anymore, since you need to hold on for as long as humanly possible. He does get a lot of damage done on those Banelings, which means the wall will not go down, but he does need to pull the SCVs to repair. And not going to be in time for that first one. So now off the back of this, Rogue has his Evo chambers. He has Lair on the way. He's got his fourth base up and ready to go. So with that, he's going to be feeling pretty good here. A 4-base Zerg versus a 2-base Terran. Never the situation you want to be in, especially since BYUN doesn't even have combat shields yet. He only has Stimpack, and his Evo or his engineering base went down. Looks like he recognizes the situation as well. Going to go for a little bit of a bigger Hellbat timing here. Going to just try and do what he can, but now there's Banelings on the field. And I just don't know what this can necessarily do. We also have the Banshee going to augment this force. But at the end of the day, yeah, Rogue is just geared up for another counterattack. He can do this all day. The wall's not even really complete here, because that supply depot will go down very, very quickly. And there you go, as the Hellbats on the other side just getting cleaned up effortlessly here. We do see one Banshee in the back getting a couple of kills. Actually, that's a Raven. That is going to be it. GG is called. So far, he's going to do something very crazy. That was actually a CC first. Oh my goodness. So BYUN is just going to go absolutely insane here. Gets the 3 racks out as well. And so Rogue is going to have to recognize this, because there is a potential for a lot of Marines to be in his base very, very quickly. Now, one problem for BYUN is that he's not going to have that much gas available to him. He only just now starts the reactor. Or rather, the reactor only just now finishing. So, I mean, with that, can you really just do anything without transitioning here? I think, yes, you should be able to get a little bit of early damage in, but you're going to have to hit a very crisp window where Rogue is not prepared. Like, maybe right after he starts a big drone up, so that there's not any larva to help defend. Now, Rogue is playing it very safe here, just sending links all over the place. He wants all that information. He needs to stay secure in his choice. And so let us see. We do have Pneumatized Carapace as well coming on in for that Overlord. So that should be a relatively decent scouting unit here for Rogue. But yeah, Stim has started here. The Queens, the drones Rogue just feeling safe enough to drone up as heavily as humanly possible. Okay, I guess that creep tumor was a bad boy and needed to be punished. And so here we go. Here comes the big scout. He sees the reactors dropping. He sees that it is pretty much a 3 racks here. He doesn't even need to go far enough to see that, hey, there's going to be a 3rd racks there, and he's going to be pumping out stim pack at this point in time. So now BYUN, he's getting aggressive with them. He's left their base. But the question is, when is he going to move out? It's kind of just a slow waiting game for that, as Rogue going to recognize this and says, I'm throwing down Evo chambers. I'm going to get my upgrades nice and early, and I'm going to stay ahead in that game sense here. Funnily enough, a speed is not done yet on these Zerglings, so they are going to have to fight on creep to stay effective. BYUN kind of just rotating around. He's not going to overcommit. He's just looking for an angle to get in here. Another scout just going to confirm everything that he's seen. A little bit of a poke onto the queen. Not really something too much, as Rogue going to be just gearing up for that counterattack once again. And yeah, just a very, very slow start here for both sides. Looks like he's chosen to go for Carapace. That's just going to mitigate a lot of the damage that those Marines are going for. There we go. I forgot to enable the music. But now we do see BYUN getting ready for the big push. 2 additional medevacs coming in. Combat shields is on the way. That Overlord is the first victim of war. And now Rogue is getting ready for a bit of a flank on this army, but looks like he's going to take a lot of Ling damage in order to make this happen. The medevac does go down, so there will be no retreat. So kind of taking a look at that. Both sides kind of traded equally here, but now BYUN has lost all map presence. He's going to have to re-establish that position, and he doesn't really have a lot of healing energy to do it. He's got to get a couple of additional medevacs out before pushing again, because every single stim is going to be difficult to keep this fight going. Marines on the way. I mean, this is still a pretty powerful push, but now Rogue has pushed the creep out to that very aggressive siege tank location. But here we go. BYUN just going to go for a bit more of a defensive siege up there. Gets a couple of the queens for free. And now he is going to be able to establish himself behind that rock face. One big problem for BYUN, though, is that he still doesn't have his 3rd base up. So he's going to need to keep the pressure on this push in order to be able to establish that more effectively. Now the rock walls are cleared up, so BYUN has to be a little bit more careful about the flank. As we see the reinforcements going to be coming in towards the top of the minimap. Looks like Rogue wanted to catch him out, but unfortunately unable to do so. He does leave his tanks completely undefended there, but I think he is going to be perfectly okay with that. As Rogue, he is down in terms of that army supply here, so he's going to have a lot of trouble breaking through this position. But here we go. He's going to try anyway. Some good focus fire on those Banelings. It's going to take a lot of them out. The splits are decent as well. Not going to lose too many of the Marines. And tries to warp in a Baneling right on top right there. That was a cute little move. But this does mean that BYUN sees the 4th base, so he can send a small force there to get that kill on that. That is so many queens. Oh my goodness. You know, the fact that there's that many queens might make it a little bit difficult to break through, but the Banelings going down does help out BYUN a lot. Good focus fire on what's left. There is still a tank in position. The second one sieges up. So Rogue is in a bit of trouble here, actually. And as I say that, you know, the queen's starting to go down, but it looks like BYUN is just going to retreat a lot of these units. Looks like the Ling puddle has turned into a flood, and he will finally clean that up. So now, Rogue is in a kind of a rebuild phase. He can't afford to drone up right now. He is currently only on 62 workers. But if he builds any more, then BYUN is just going to come across the map and crush through his army once again. So he has to build as many army units as possible to stay safe versus this. And unfortunately, you know, when BYUN gets that forward momentum, he's very difficult to dislodge. And he's just going to keep that going with a couple of medevac swipes here. So now Rogue going to have to switch things up a little bit. He's going into Hydras. And since he does have that +2 Carapace, he's going to be feeling pretty good here. Nice little move as well. Looks like there are enough queens as well to help clean this up, but they're trying to focus down the medevac, so they do take a little bit of extra damage. But yeah, now Rogue does feel a little bit safer. He did get that big drone up in. BYUN on 3 bases, so his economy is going to be relatively decent. Unfortunately, though, he only has 5 racks right now. Like 5. That means he's not really going to be able to replenish this army at the rate that he's going to need to. If he takes a bad engagement, so he's going to have to trade super efficiently. And even then, it might not be enough. As we see, the drop's going to get cleaned up on that side. We do have a couple of units still over here ready to jump on the new 4th. But the Lings are in position for that one as well. Ooh, gotta be careful there. The siege tank's about to take the high road when the army takes the low road. So almost a free snipe there for Rogue. Like he's even going to get Burrow just to be a bit more of a nuisance here, as BYUN is going to siege up behind that ramp. Rogue goes in for the counter. So many SCVs going to go down here. 11 so far. Reinforcements are in position to stop it, but I mean, still, that is going to slow you down as BYUN. The Queens, though, taking massive amounts of fire. Holy cow. The transfuses are good and will save a lot of them, but oh wow, that was so many queen deaths, so a lot of energy just dead in the water there. And now BYUN is going to do a little bit of damage to this mineral line. He gets deflected on this side though by the Hydralisks. And we have the wraparound coming in for Rogue as well. Oh, BYUN, he's not paying attention. He's going to lose this drop. That was a lot of wasted opportunity there, because that drop could have done some damage in the main base. But now BYUN does know that the hive is on the way. So he's got to know that there is a timer on these kind of pushes. He needs to do something soon, because as time goes on, Rogue is just going to explode in terms of that power. Yeah, small mistake right there as well. Losing out on some of those medevacs. So you're going to have to remake those at a time when you're going to be a little bit gas-starved on 6 gas geysers. as that gets dropped over there. Rogue going in for another big snipe. 17 workers going down. The fourth base is denied once again from landing. And now we got the Vipers on the way. The hive is complete. Plus 2 upgrades on those lurkers, and they will have range by the time the next attack comes down. Unfortunately for BYUN, while he does have this position, it's not really the most effective one for him right now. You can see Rogue is just expanding his way through the left side of the map. So, I mean, that's where BYUN really needs to put his effort. And this is just dead supply right now. And at the end of the day, it's not going to matter for him too much, as we do have the Nidus Worm coming in. So he is going to have to be very, very careful with how he positions his units. And once again, just take a look at this Rex count. He's still on 5 at 15 minutes into the game. He is not really able to build an army fast enough to keep up with Rogue. But here we go once again. Rogue is just going to distract him in the front. He wants to keep the units out of the main base because the Nidus Worm is almost ready to go. And you can kind of see BYUN deciding, hey, now is my chance. Rogue is focused in my own main base. But this is just some beautiful damage. Absolute carnage in the main base of BYUN. It will cost Rogue his third base, but at this point, that's mining out. He doesn't really care about that as much. And yeah, even the siege tanks are starting to die off. BYUN supply has plummeted right here. Now the fourth base is going to go down. Oh my goodness, Rogue is just absolutely everywhere right now. Kind of taking a look at the units lost. He's being super efficient for a Zerg player. And unfortunately for BYUN, he still hasn't cleaned up his main base. His third base will go down. The fourth base is under threat. He can't mine off it. I think this might be the end of our Red Terran player here. That will put him down to match point in this series. And Rogue is just looking absolutely unstoppable. GG is called. In the bottom left corner of Blackburn for what could be his last game of the series. Give it up for the Shopify Rebellion's BYUN. And his opponent over here in the bottom right corner. He is, for Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Rogue. And so once again, BYUN is trying the tricky strats, looking to kind of catch Rogue off guard. This is looking like maybe 2 racks Reaper here, as you can send the Reapers down this ramp, I believe, even though they will be a little bit slowed down. And yeah, that's exactly what it's looking like here. At the very least, it's going to be a 2-1-1. So, hopefully it's going to be the 2-1-1. I don't think Reapers is going to be the best way. If you remember back in 2016, the Simulacrum map between, funnily enough, these two players we see in the screen, Rogue did kind of crush through BYUN's attempt to make Reapers. And this was all before the Reaper nerf. So, maybe not the best guy to go mass Reaper against. Just a thought, just a theory. You know, BYUN is still his own man. He can do what he pleases. But this will hit just as the lings start to pop, so he should have them in position. So far, I doubt Rogue really suspects anything because this is the normal Reaper timing. The natural CC has gone down. The Ling's just kind of rotating in and out, trying to stay alive. And now the Queen. You're not paying attention. Oh my god. So the Queen will pick up the kill there. And now with this, BYUN is going to have to rotate around with fewer Reapers. You never want to lose the first 3. And that is just going to prompt him to say, okay, drop down my attachments, make this a 2-1-1. Let's see what we can get done here. So I got to give him props to that. He's not overcommitted to the Reapers. He's just trying to make sure that he does have that follow-up up and ready to go. And now the Reapers can just put a little bit of pressure on. They're not really going to get any kills anymore. You know, they're still there to kind of keep Rogue's attention away. Now Rogue is going to be going for the roaches. Oh my goodness. Keep in mind, Blackburn does have a relatively short rush distance here, so those roaches will have a fun time making their way across. And honestly, he can just use them defensively as well, which would be pretty good because the 2-1-1 is a little bit weak to roaches. You know, because roaches, they're very good in the early game. They're very good in the mid game when the upgrades haven't started to kick in yet. And for BYUN, he doesn't have any upgrades. Only just now getting 1 engineering bay. Nice snipe right there. So now we're kind of just in a little bit of a lull in the action as both sides are starting to power up, ready to go. BYUN's still only on 36 workers. I gotta say, he's not really on his best macro manners tonight. I guess he's trying to focus very heavily on this first big push in order to get some damage in. And it's kind of slowing him down quite a bit. Now with the layer done, Carapace upgrade is going to be coming in for those roaches, just making them that much beefier. As the reinforcements going to be making their way across. He does have a couple of Reapers to kind of disrupt the forces of Rogue, though. So let's see what he can do with them. He knows this is coming. His Overlord has seen absolutely everything. It's going to keep some roaches in the main base as well, but here we go. The Concave is good, and it's going to dive right on top of the Marines, force them on to retreat. And it looks like he's going to try and get into the main base here, but yeah, not a good idea. Yeah, he's just kind of trying to keep Rogue away from any sort of counterattack. We've kind of seen that, yeah, when Rogue counterattacks, it has been absolutely devastating for BYUN to contend with. So, you know, just kind of keeping the pressure out there is pretty darn important. It looks like the Overseer will go down, so that is nice. But now we see Rogue is going up to that 4th base, while BYUN is still only on 2 bases. Breaking down that rock wall is just going to give him so much potential. And once he gets that explosion of mineral income, he is going to be a very spoiled Zerg player. Trying to fight that out. That's not really the trade that you can take yet. As he has to retreat. And of course, the lings and the roaches, the queens are in position, so he won't really be able to get too much done. He does have a small force down here. And in terms of upgrades, yeah, he is miles ahead of the red-trunked Terran. So BYUN just going to be trading out what he can. He still has this drop up here ready to go. But now with the roaches, this allows Rogue to go up to that faster hive tech. He's got his infestation pit down. He's going to be switching into lurkers, I presume. And honestly, yeah, this is looking really good for him here. BYUN has to realize the position he's in, and he needs to go for a bit of counter damage, or some actual damage right now. He's just playing it a little bit too defensively, and I mean, I don't blame him versus, you know, a guy who's trading efficiently with Zerg. It's just, yeah, the Opus is usually on the Terran player. He's got to get something in here. Looks like he will finally find a couple of drone kills. But, yeah, he will have to pick up. You need a lot more than that. You know, he's still not utilizing his siege tanks at any point here. He's trying to fight with Pure Bio, and that's just going to let Rogue dive right on top of that army. Get a quick and easy pickup there. Siege tanks are very far back, by the way. So this is going to mean that Rogue is going to be able to kind of put a little bit of pressure on. He has the flank of Ling's going to be coming in, and the Nidus as well. Oh my goodness, tunneling clawed roaches. Now BYUN did see this, so he will be able to get the scan on in. But now the Lurker Den is in. +3 attack is way far ahead of the +2 of BYUN. And, yeah, he's going into Ghost. He's trying to transition. But it's just so much slower than Rogue. I don't know if it's going to be enough for him. See if the Nidus, let's see what the Nidus Worm can get done in terms of building count. Yeah, once again, just only 5 racks down. He's adding on 6, 7, and 8 right now. But they are very far delayed, so losing his army will be a very big deal. He will not be able to very quickly and easily rebuild that. Unfortunate little Ravager right there. As we see the Overlord coming in, we have another big tunneling claw roach attack, and there is no detection on this one. Most of his attention might be focused here in the front, though. As a siege tank is going to get a good volley. The 4th base is going to get canceled here. There's almost no way that he saves that with 2 Marauders. And now we see Rogue just utilizing that Nidus Worm to give himself a much quicker resupply point. As we see BYUN, he's trying to take the fight, but the Lurkers in the backfield just decimating his army. The siege tanks, though, staying alive for 1 additional shot. But now, oh, BYUN does have units in position. That is fantastic. But now the slow siege up of a maxed out Rogue can begin. He loses one of the Vipers very early on. The Blinding Clouds really whiffing right there as well. So not the best start to this engagement for Rogue, but I don't think he really cares too much. He already has a big reinforcement of Hydralisks coming on in. And now he's trying to sneak the Nidus in once again. Looks like BYUN not paying attention to it. He might get it down. Yeah, he will be able to get it down, but only a couple of Lings going to come out. As we do see the Lurkers actually getting sniped and dived on. That is a good cleanup for BYUN, but unfortunately, he still has a very big canyon to fall on. 4 workers going down in that attack. 13 more Hydralisks on the production tab. Rogue is once again completely maxed out. And still no +3. Like, that's the biggest kicker here for BYUN. No +3 means that he won't be able to take those efficient fights as much as he'd like to. And here we go. A big surround coming in. The Lings getting on top of everything. The Hydralisk and Roaches gonna take a lot of fire to the siege tank line. But he will be able to get on top of the economy here. 5 more workers going down. And now this is pretty much death by 1,000 cuts here for Rogue. He just wants to dig the knife in deeper and deeper each and every single time. He's got to be careful not to overextend too much, though. Here we go. Now with the fast burrow, he's going to get right on top of the Ghost. A couple of EMPs going down on the Vipers, trying to stifle some of the bleeding, but BYUN can't fight with his entire army. He's got to keep some in the main base in order to keep the Nidus Worm out. Some good snipes coming on in, but not enough to kill off the Lurkers, and that is going to be it.